So basically what I'm going to go over today, it's kind of a brief slide deck, and then I'm going to actually jump into a demonstration of the site and look at our library guide. So I'm going to review what Digital Commons is, how works are added to Digital Commons, and some of the benefits. And then, like I said, I'll go into a demonstration. And then lastly, I'll show our guide, which acts kind of as a reference point for a lot of what I'm going to talk about today. So Digital Commons is a service of the university libraries, and you'll see this quote on a lot of our documentation, that ODU Digital Commons preserves, promotes, and shares the scholarly, creative, and institutional work of Old Dominion University. So it's an open access institutional repository. So it means that materials are in general made freely available and without barrier. Users are expected, of course, to abide by and respect the rights and permissions of items that are in the repository. And in some cases, there may be embargoes or links to subscription information, but those cases are hopefully rare and few and far between. So the repository is institutional, meaning that it's made available for works of ODU affiliated students, researchers, and staff, as well as ODU affiliated events. And in addition to being an access point for these materials, it also serves as a long-term storage and preservation system. We add a variety of works to Digital Commons, so that could include journal articles, book chapters, conference proceedings, theses and dissertations. We also host materials from events and unique collections, as well as open educational resources. So mainly, the libraries deposits materials on behalf of the ODU community. So every month, staff in our department will compile publication information from various database alerts, and then the publications are reviewed. And if the rights allow, then the works are uploaded to Digital Commons. I won't go into too much depth here about the various types of open access. I'm happy to talk about that if there's questions. We're also hosting an open access workshop in October, which I'll share at the end. It's important to note that we compile as many publications as we can. The list will never be exhaustive, and we do post the full compiled list monthly to the ODU website, and that is on the side as our faculty publications page. I can also show that. I think it's linked from ODU Digital Commons. And then a subset of these in which rights allow are then added to Digital Commons. And researchers should receive an email when one of their works is uploaded. So if you've never had anything uploaded to Digital Commons before and you get an email, that's probably what it's from. Authors can also reach out to us directly and request that we add publications to Digital Commons. So our email address is, this is the main point of contact for the repository. So if your work is open access, it's not currently in the repository, but you'd like it to be, you can certainly reach out to us and we can work with you on that. So as I mentioned, we can't monitor the entire scholarly record, but ODU Digital Commons helps provide a record of the open access scholarly activity taking place within the university. Digital Commons highlights the work of both faculty and students. So ODU no longer requires print dissertations and theses, and we don't maintain print copies in the libraries anymore. All dissertations and theses are added to Digital Commons, and that serves as the official university copy. Works are indexed in search engines and the Digital Commons network, which I will show, and that makes materials discoverable, worldwide, including providing access to people who may not have subscriptions to databases and journals. Digital Commons also provides metrics on how often your work is being accessed. It provides download counts, as well as alternative metrics in the form of what's called PlumX metrics, and we can also take a look at that. It shows additional information such as news and social media mentions. And authors can create an account and they can monitor their own dashboard and go in and just see how their works are being accessed at any time. This is just a quick snapshot of Digital Commons as of a couple days ago. So we have over 25,000 total papers meaning total works, over 7 million downloads, and almost 2 million downloads just in the last 365 days. So does anyone have any questions before I actually jump to ODU Digital Commons? So this is what the main site looks like. So I'm just going to kind of go through, top, the sides, and what you see in the center here. So this up at the top will always be here. So the home obviously will bring you back to the home site. About just has a little bit about institutional repositories in general, and then it links to our guide. The FAQ is just a couple of frequently asked questions about the repository and how you might make a submission, provide submission. And then this is where you would either log in or create a new account. And that's so authors can view their dashboards. You can create alerts. There's a little bit more functionality when you're actually logged into your account. On this side over here, there's search. So you can search by author or keyword. You can search in this repository, or you can cross all Digital Commons repositories, and that's the Digital Commons network. There, if you go to the search, there's also an advanced option, which is a little bit more functionality in the form of dates and relevance and format and things like that. There's this browse section here, so you can browse, or I'll show you this in a minute. There's some guidelines for contributing, and then a couple links out to our other digital collections. So we also have the archives within the library. So we have kind of a separate digital collections for that. And then you can also contact us. That's the email for the Digital Commons Manager. So in the center here, this is kind of a revamped look as of maybe, a year ago, maybe. All collections, it literally will show you all collections, which is a bit overwhelming. Yeah. So that's why we kind of split out into these buckets, so to speak. So colleges and schools, centers and institutes, all the theses and dissertations, student works. We do have a couple journals that we host. We're not currently accepting new journals to host, but we are maintaining the ones that we have. Open educational resources, unique collections, events, things like that. If you scroll down, this kind of shows a snapshot of the readership. And it also shows how many works, downloads in the past year, and then at a glance, top 10 downloads, recent editions, and paper of the day. I had to look up how they did that. Apparently it's random. So, or the manager can choose to put a paper of the day. You can also go to the discipline wheel and just search within certain disciplines as well to see what we have. And then as part of, as I said, the Digital Commons network. So if you wanted to search all of the Digital Commons from 727 institutions, you can do that as well. Hopefully going to go back. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to go into one of the colleges and schools. I will go into maybe a college of education. So this is kind of how our collections are set up. So you will have each department within that college is kind of its own collection. And then we have sub-collections for books, publications, theses, and dissertations. And some of them, it depends on when maybe the school name has changed, for instance. So this one may say that this is all the pre-2024 things. So we try and keep a record of things. It's hard to kind of move things around sometimes. So if you see some things that you're not quite sure about, hopefully we'll have a description in there that kind of walks you through that. If we go into faculty publications, they're going to be ordered by date in here. And you may be able to get to things from different places. So for instance, you see theses and dissertations here, but on the home screen, we also have the electronic theses and dissertations. So these are all the dissertations, from 2025, and we import them on kind of a rolling basis. So this will just show you all of them. If you wanted to see them for a specific college or school, it would probably be better to go in and look at theses and dissertations for, say, economics specifically. So there are different access points for different collections. Okay. Is there anything anyone wants to see in particular? Some of our unique collections would be our lecture series, our literary festival, poetry spotlight, Tidewater Voices, yearbooks. So some things that may not necessarily fit within a college or a center may go in the unique collections. Events.
This is Des Cook from Physics. I have a couple of
Yes,
questions, if I can.
sure. Absolutely.
On the My account, when
Yep.
you set up My account, is that going to be the Midas, or do you set up a completely separate account?
This is a separate account.
Okay,
So I do use my ODU, but it is separate from Midas.
okay,
So, yep.
okay. And another question. Usually, dissertations and theses represent PhDs and masters. Many departments on campus have a senior thesis program for their seniors. Do you include those theses as well?
I believe we do. I know we have master's papers. Let me see if there's,
Well,
do you know,
senior thesis,
yeah,
undergraduate, final, usually
right.
final year. Yeah.
I'm not, oh, maybe I think that maybe under capstone, I believe, um, let's see, senior elective communication system capstone project. So yes. I don't know if they're called senior theses, but I know we do have some of the capstone projects in here. But if
Okay.
that's something,
Yeah,
um,
I'll look into it. I've looked after the program in physics for probably nearly 30 years. We must have
I would
two or
hope.
300 of those in the department,
Yeah.
mainly hardbound. Going,
Oh, interesting.
so yeah, we bind them ourselves as hardbound, and we do keep digitals over probably the last 10 years, but before that, I don't think that. Anyway, I'll contact you over that.
Yeah, that would be great. We just did a large project with the bound theses and dissertations that were on the shelves. So those have all been digitized and are now in here. So everything from 2016 onward has been digital, but we've been also working to do that backlog of things. And we've had some requests from VHS. So we do have some requests to do the go from print to digital. But yes, please get in touch with us about that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just looking just to see. It doesn't look like there's a separate section for that. I will note that even though it says faculty publication, that could be also grad student publications and things like that. So when we set this up, that's kind of just how it was. But yeah, please get in touch about senior theses and things like that, because we do have capstones in here as well from undergraduates.
Okay.
Hey, Nikki, this is Carol Considine from ICAR.
Hi.
I see that ICAR has a spot under the centers, but inside ICAR is the Commonwealth Center for Recurrent Flooding Resiliency, and it's actually like a separate funding line. And I'm wondering, is it best to create a separate one or just keep, because I'm seeing now that some of the projects that are CCRFR projects are currently under ICAR, which is okay. But I'm just wondering, is there some way to designate them also as the Commonwealth Center for Recurrent Flooding Resiliency?
I
So,
am
for
going to say
example, if you
yes,
go up to the
probably.
top, yeah, if you go up to the top
ICAR.
of this document that you're on, there's
Mhm.
occasional paper series, for example, at the
Oh, okay.
scroll up, go up to the top. Yeah, so like that occasional paper series, like some of those are, and I don't even think all of our reports are in there. So what is the best way to address that, do you think?
I would say, so we do have this main digital commons at EDU. And I'll show this at the end as well, all of our contact information. So you could get in touch there directly. That'll go to our digital commons manager, Teresa Statler-Keener, who couldn't be here today. It'll also go to me. So at least that you're not emailing two people, you're emailing just a centralized place for that. And then
Okay.
Teresa would probably be the best person to try and figure out how she understands the back end really well of how things all fit together and link together. Because we would still want it to be associated with ICAR, but if it also needs to be associated with something else, then we could hopefully figure out how to best do that. And if there's things, like I said, that aren't in here that you want in here, that's also something that we can help collaborate with.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's other reports in there that faculty created that are part of iCar, but they're under the faculty account and not the iCar account. And so
Okay.
can you have things under two different accounts?
Yes, you can. I think it is just the first affiliation that comes up under a publication. So if a faculty is affiliated with two different, a college and a center maybe, if the college comes first on the paper, then it'll probably be affiliated with the college, but it can be linked to the other entity, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you. Mhm.
You're welcome. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions, comments? Anything else you want to see? Oh, I guess I will just go back to my account really quick. So I am now logged in. I don't have very much in here, but if you did want to go in, you can look at your author dashboard. And this would show you, I only have one in here right now. But it will show you your readership distribution, what institutions, countries that are accessing it, all sorts of fun stuff. So if you want to create an account, you can kind of monitor your own things that are in Digital Commons. You won't be able to see everybody's, but you'll be at least be able to see yours. Anything else in? You can also set up, alerts. I think I might, yeah, I do have a couple set up. So you can set up an alert and then it'll come to your email in case you wanted to do that. You could send me monthly reports for your articles. So if you want to, you can check that on or off. So if you don't, want to monitor your dashboard all the time, Digital Commons can send you a report monthly about your statistics and metrics. Anything else in my account? I don't think so. I think that's the main account features. Okay. So I am just going to show our library guide quickly, hopefully. Okay, so this is our guide. So it kind of goes through, benefits, why we like to put things in there. It has our policies and practices. So our scope, as I said, it's for the intellectual output of ODU faculty, researchers, and students. It should be educational or research oriented in nature. Although we do have, the poetry, the creative things in there as well. Access. So it is intended to be an open access research platform. We can withdraw items if there's good reason to do so, but a metadata citation record will always remain. Even if you can't download the actual item anymore, the metadata will still be there. And then we use some of our repository practices. So we deposit the open access materials. So we look at journal policies to make sure that we are able to do so if it doesn't have, say, like a Creative Commons license on it. Some publishers may give us permission to also deposit things. So it's kind of on a case-by-case basis. And as I mentioned, the theses and dissertations are all electronically saved in Digital Commons. And then just some FAQs and resources. So this is kind of a good overview. If you forget anything I talked about today, this kind of outlines what our policies and procedures are, why it's in there, what we do, how we do it. So. And then it does link out to a couple related guides as far as copyright, open access, and then of course provides the contact information again. And then this is my contact information and also Teresa's information, who is our repository manager. And like I said, this Digital Commons at odu.edu will go to both of us. So someone will be in contact with you, but you could also just email us directly and we can figure things out. I will just go back to, one thing to mention of how to actually access Digital Commons. I believe you can just do ODU Digital Commons and it'll show up, or it is also on our homepage. right under Monarch One search. So Digital Commons is right here, and that'll take you directly to the page as well.